this video will be a huge help to you guys. We're going to do something super cool today, and I mean, we're going to get with it. Okay, here we go. The most requested, and I mean the most requested thing that I have ever had, guys, since I've been in this stuff, is how to go about establishing a hunting arrow for a recurve or a longbow. What do you do, guys? Today, we're going to tackle that. We're going to tackle the absolute most requested subject in traditional bow hunting, and that is your arrow build. How do you go about it, guys? Oh, I got it. Oh my God. Well, I'm going to share with you a scenario that I hope and pray will absolutely help you. I hope and pray it will. Okay, check this out, guys. Everybody's not like me. Everybody doesn't have an arrow saw. Everybody doesn't have a mechanical shooting device. Everybody doesn't have all the equipment and the tinkering and all the things that I have. So we're going to try today to help the guy that has only bought a bow and wants to order arrows and broadheads and establish him a good hunting setup that works out of his bow. How do you do it, guys? Okay, simple version. Three Rivers Archery offers bare shaft test kits like we've been using in these other videos. They offer the bare shaft test kits, guys, and a multitude of different arrows. Today, we're going to use the Easton Legacies. We're going to use the Legacies today. I took the test kit, and one of them, they sent me several. Okay, so check this out, guys. I thought, all right, let's do it this way. Let's keep it on a level playing field. Keep it simple. We are going to do a 100% dead equal test. That is, we're going to do a 45-pound bow. Okay, because so many people have 45-pound bows. We're going to draw it 28 inches. That's right. There again. Guys, if you draw less than that, you can add more point weight. You can even go down in a spine. If you draw more than 28, you can go up in spine. You can lessen point weight. You can do a multitude of things to get an arrow to shoot perfect out of your bow. It's so easy, but you got to start somewhere. This is for the guy that does not have a way to cut his arrows, that has to get on the website and order his test kit and have them cut them off for him and send some points that match what he plans on shooting for a broadhead. So, I told you guys in the other videos, 250 grains is the magic mark. If you can possibly stay with 250 grains on the front of your arrow, you will never have a problem with penetration, period. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this test today, guys. We're going to keep the 250 running. So, what I've done is I have cut these carbon to carbon 29 inches because I've got a ½ inch on the nock and a ¼ inch on the factory inserts. That gives me a 29 3/4 inch arrow. If we draw this thing 28 inches, that will tell us what a 29 inch cut to cut with 250 does in each spine. So in other words, guys, if you measure your draw length, if you draw your bow in a hunting position and you get somebody to actually mark it, you can even put a playing card on one. You can push up a card, you can take and you can draw your bow and you can say, okay, that's where it's at. Measure from the throat of the nock to that point. That's your draw length. Okay, if your bow is marked 45 pounds and you're only drawing, say, 26 or 27, well, you got to subtract about 2.5 to 3 pounds per inch of draw that you are short of that mark that's on that bow. If you draw more than what's marked, you can add about 3 pounds per inch. So that tells you guys, hey, this is about what I'm drawing in pounds. But you know what? That doesn't even matter, guys. It doesn't matter because we're going to take a 45-pound bow that is drawing 45, that is drawing 28, and we're going to start firing different spines, cut the same, weighted the same, and see what they do and what it really does take to bare shaft that weight bow with this much point weight. And it may surprise us, guys. We may have to have a lot stiffer arrow than we actually think we do. We're going to find out. 'Cause I don't know. We're going to try it. So let the testing begin, guys. This is more fun than a barrel of monkeys. All right, what we got here, the first one up is going to be a 500 spine. There it is, 500 spine. Let's just see. Now, I've got a feeling cut 29 inches carbon to carbon. I have not shot this because I was able to get this to bear shaft out of a 40-pound bow. Now we're at a 45. I got a feeling this 500 is going to be truly weak. I really think it's going to, but I could be wrong. I could be shocked. If it's just a hair weak, okay, then we kind of know that, you know, we could play with it and make it work, but we're trying to keep it all consistent and just see what spine 45 pounds truly wants with this much weight. Total air weight. Everybody wants to know the total air weight. It's impressive. Let me measure that again. 521 grains. 521 grains unfletched. That's getting right. I mean, that's plenty heavy enough arrow. This would have a lot of penetration. And as we go up even a little bit more in mass weight because this arrow here is 8.3 grains per inch, whereas a 400 spine, the 400s are going to go up. Oh gosh, they're going up quite a bit. They're closer to 9, and then we start getting close to 10. So we can build mass really fast going up in spine. Let the testing begin. We'll start with a 500. 500. You got a feeling this one might be a little bit weak. I don't know. May not. We'll see. Like I said, this is more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Dead on, 28 inches. Not bad, just a hair weak. I mean, it's a little weak. Okay, I figured it might be. I figured it might. All right. So let's go up to a 400. See what it does. Let's just see. Let's just see. There. Much better. Yeah, much better. Yeah, it's actually hit my other arrow, but yeah, that flew pretty dang good. And there again, most people are not drawing true 28 inches. They're not. The mass of people are probably going to need 500s. I do. I shoot 500s, and I shoot them all the way up to 46, 47, 48-pound bows. 250 grains, 275. Man, they fly awesome. I mean, they do. But for bear shafting, you know, guys, if you want to get you a kit, I mean, seriously, get you a kit. Get them cut at least 1 or 2 inches past whatever your draw is going to be. And just get the point weight of whatever broadhead that you plan on shooting. If it's a 150 grain head, we'll get you some 150 grain tips and some 50 grain inserts or something and get at least in that 200 grain mark. But I prefer to go with 100 grain inserts and a 150 grain broadhead. That gives you 250, okay? So to initially set your arrows up, you can simply take these spines and you can shoot them. Hey, it doesn't matter. They're just test kits. And you can put that 250 grains on the front of 3 or 4 different arrows if you need to. Shoot them out of your bow. See what it really likes. Okay, for kicks and giggles, guys, I'm going to shoot a 340. This 340 should be stiff. I mean, it really should be overkill for this. It should. So we're going to see. Let's test it and see. Should be. So far, a 400 cut that length definitely shot good. I think that arrow was so stiff because it showed severely weak. That's not possible. I think what happened on that 340 is it paradoxing so hard. I think it's so stiff that it's actually coming off the riser and actually bouncing off, giving us a way tail left reading. I could probably crank this thing up another inch or two and shoot it, and I guarantee it'd be a bullet. But that's what it's doing. It's just too stiff. So you got to remember that sometimes, and I've experienced this many times, guys. If an arrow is too stiff, way too stiff, it will give you a tail left reading initially, even though that's completely opposite of what you always look for, because it is bouncing off that shelf. It's bouncing off of it. That's why sometimes you hear a little tick noise. You get wear on the outside of your rest material. If that arrow is too stiff, it's going to do that. So we already know a 340 is just way too heavy for that. It's just way too stiff. We know it is. Definitely, there's not physics say that when you go up in spine, the arrow gets stiffer, right? That's how they're designed. So you cannot have a weaker showing on a stiffer spine. It doesn't work. It's not possible. So we're getting an effect with that 340.
All right, guys, I want to thank you for joining me today for this video. I wanted to keep it as short and sweet as possible. And I pray that it's been helpful to you guys. And I know that it's sometimes hard to figure this stuff out if you're just getting into traditional archery, being that it's so completely different from compounds. It's a different world. And guys, I understand from all the multitude of questions that I've gotten through the years about arrow builds that sometimes it can be frustrating. Well, guys, don't let it be that way. I'm trying to give you a shortcut that will help you, hopefully help you, to get your setup nailed down really quick and easy if you don't have a lot of equipment. I mean, guys, it's a very simple process. Just always remember, start with your broadhead. That's right. Start with your broadhead. Check this out, guys. Here are two broadheads that I typically shoot. Typically. Okay. Two of them. A Simmons Swamp Shark and a VPA. Those are my two favorites. And I shoot a lot of different heads. I love the VPA Omegas. They're very good heads too. But guys, check this out. This is a 200 grain. This broadhead weighs 200 grains. This one weighs in at 190 grains. Like I said, 10 grains is not going to make any difference. So you could practice and you could set up your initial setup if you want to shoot these Simmons heads, which have taken my last 6 or 7 deer, okay? All but one. I shot one last year with the Omega. And anyway, as a test, but this head has consistently taken them down. Okay, even though they sell them saying that they're 175 grains on the package, they're not. They're much closer to 200 grains in actual weight. Okay, so you pick your broadhead. Then, when you order your test kit, order field tips as close as you can get to what you plan on shooting. In other words, if you plan on shooting 200 grain heads, have them send you 200 grain field tips, okay? Then you can simply play with the spines and find what works. Once you get, let's just say, like today, the 400 spine came in the winner. at a true 45 pounds. It did. So if I set this arrow up and it's cut plenty long and I've got the point weight that I want on this thing, then if this arrow were to be just a hair weak, I could barely trim it and solve the problem, okay? If I had a problem with it being a little bit stiff, if there's some kind of in between, then I know that I would need my arrows just a hair longer to weaken them up just a little bit. Same thing with that 500. If I had a 500 shoot as close as we had this 500 shooting, I could cut just a little bit off that 500 with my point weight, and I'm there. The arrow is going to shoot good. It's going to fly broadhead good. As long as you're within this on your tail left or tail right, and I mean just a little bit, shooting it as vertical as you can. Hold your bow as vertical as you possibly can hold it. Shoot it about 30 or 40 times. Do not judge your bear shaft on any one shot or two or three. Shoot it at least 10 to 20, 30 times. And you will see a consistent reading, because there are variances in your finger and how you release the string and how much tension you're pulling on it. And even this much puts energy into those limbs. It does. Which does what? It weakens the shaft. So bear shafting is not hard, and it does not have to be perfect as long as you get it close, guys. And if you're having trouble with knock high readings or knock low, it's simply an adjustment of your knock set. If you have constantly got knock high that you cannot get out, and guys, this is a very requested thing. I get so many messages on this subject. If you have knock high readings all the time, no matter how high you go up with your knock, you have too much point weight for the spine you're running. The arrow can't handle it, and it's giving you tail high. Back off the point weight or go up a spine, and it will leave. Promise you guys it will. I've tried it and tried it and tried it and tried it. It works every time for me. But the initial thing to do, is to set your knock. And I use double knocks. Double knocks, there is a reason why I run double knocks. There's a reason why triple T strings come with double knocks. Because when that arrow releases, during its release, if it does not have a knock on the bottom, it can actually move down that string as that string is pushing it, then ramp off that shelf, giving you a tail high reading. That's why you want a knock on top and a knock on bottom. It gives you a much cleaner path. When that arrow leaves the string, it's much cleaner, and it's less affected by your fingers as well. So keep that in mind, guys. When you're doing your bear shaft and you're dealing with your knock high and knock low, much of it has to do with the knocks themselves and the position they're in. And 99% of the time, that can easily be tuned by simply adjusting them up or down. Typically, it's around 5/8 of an inch above center. That's the typical setting for a 3-under shooter. Split finger, it's about a 1/2 inch. Okay, and you can tweak it from there depending on your draw length, because the longer you draw, the higher that knock needs to be to level that arrow off at full draw. Okay, so those are the two things that you're going to deal with. But number one, get your spine right. Guys, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Appreciate every one of you. Appreciate all the messages, all the comments, all the questions. And I just thank you so much for tuning in to Instinctive Addiction Archery. I love you guys, and just praise the good Lord in heaven for everything that He does for us, giving us all this to enjoy. Until next time, guys, goodbye.